Hi and welcome to another edition of Mailbag. Okay, this is Mailbag, common feature of the channel. It's where I attempt to answer questions that you guys have left on the channel, or if I can't answer them, I have a good go at answering them, or I throw them out to the wider tubing community to try and answer on behalf of somebody who's raised the question. Now, we'll get into this mailbag. Remember, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Go over to Instagram and follow me there. Go over to Facebook, follow me there. That's where the normal notices are. And consider becoming a Patreon. This question comes from Hardcore Eagle UT. And I haven't written what it's in response to, but I'm suspecting it's in response to the video I did some time ago about daisy chaining ARIA equipment together. So just to recall on this, so you can either plug ARIA equipment into the USB sockets of your MX-1, or you can use the traditional MIDI route of in, out, in, out, in, out to get your MIDI together. And then obviously all the audio connections come back to the MX-1, and the MX-1 acts as your master mixer. I think that's what this is all about. And Hardcore writes, actually you can connect through the USB port to daisy chain MX-1 to another MX-1. Here's a Roland official video of it. Now, I didn't know you could do this. This is really interesting stuff, and it's something I'll put out to the community about the MX-1. You can daisy chain two MX-1s together. But I did write back to Hardcore on this, and I said these are the kind of the other things that I found out. So thanks for posting the comment and the link. So does this answer the question? You can link two MX-1s together and sync the clock on the first as the master to the other units connected. Couple of areas I'm not clear from watching the video, and this was, I watched the video and then I had some other questions, and I don't own two MX-1s, so I can't answer the questions. So I thought I'd throw this out to the community and ask other people out in the community whether they'd experienced MX-1 to MX-1. By the way, I don't think this lets Roland off the hook of where is the MX-2. You know, I think Roland, you need to somebody needs to give you a kick up the jacksie to produce the MX-2 that solves all the problems that the MX-1 gave us. Less on that piece of rant. So the first question I had was, I'm assuming that you need to pass the audio signal for the slave to master at Unity. So when you hook mixers up together, what you do is on the mixer, I've got mixers in here, on one mixer effectively what you do is you push on the mixer you're going into, you push the input up to Unity and you balance the mixers on this mixer. So you never touch this mixer in terms of how the signal, so the signal comes through this, you pretty much flow it through flat in terms of EQ, and you flow it through at Unity, so it's a given level, as in 0 dB. And then on the other mixer, you then do your mixing on the mixer as effectively as a sub mixer. So if you've never done that before, that's kind of the general rule of this: is you set your levels on this, you never touch it, and on the levels on the secondary mixer that effectively is flowing the input into this mixer, that's where you do your mixing. Anyway, so I'm assuming that you have to effectively set one the receiving MX-1 at Unity, and the sending MX-1 is where you do all the work. That's an assumption, because that's the slave. I'm also assuming that MIDI can pass from the master to the slave, but does it go the other way? So if you're using traditional MIDI, it can't. It's as simple as that. It's an in, out, in, out, in, out. So if the slave is further down the line than the master, then the clock comes from the master to the slave. It can't go back the other way. What I don't know, and again this is a question, is whether you can use the MIDI clock on the slave to drive the master. Now that, to be honest, doesn't sound sensible, but I'm not saying it can't be done. I just can't test it. So that was the second question I had. And if you think about what I was talking about the other day on the, I did some videos about recurring questions on the MX-1 and TB3. Passing MIDI is possible if you want to pass MIDI from the computer through the MX-1 by setting up the routing on the computer to talk to the ports on the MX-1. So I can see how you can do that. I'm not sure the MX-1 does it natively. If you plugged a machine into the USB, whether the MX-1 would see the commands coming back the other way. I still don't understand. I mean, there is a bigger guide that I'm going to actually do some videos on over the coming weeks, which is talking about the more in-depth features of the MX-1, the ones that Roland don't tell you about. But I can't. I thumbed through that guide actually when I wrote the response, and I didn't see anything that told me this. So again, out to the community, if you know you can do this, if you know that MIDI can pass the other way using USB, so the MX-1 can receive the clock from the second MX-1. Now theoretically it might be able to do that because it can receive the clock from the TR8. Anyway, somebody can confirm that because I haven't tested it. So that's question number 2. And question number 3 is the other thing I'm assuming here, and we've seen this on the video I did on the MX-1 and TR8 being plugged into Ableton. So that was one of the recurring videos. I'm assuming that you can only get 2 channels of audio off the MX-1, irrespective of whether it comes in at unity to an audio channel or comes in at unity to the USB channel. Now I'm hoping that I'm making a little bit of sense here, but if you went back to the TR8 situation, which I did on a video fairly recently, on the in that scenario, the TR8 only presents 2 channels of audio. I'm not going to 2 channels of audio. Okay, it has. If you plug it into the USB of the computer, it will present. Oh God, I'm going to 14 channels of audio. Okay, so effectively 1 for each instrument on the TR8. But if you plug it in via the MX-1, you only get 2 channels of audio. Okay, so I'm assuming that that is still the case. So it doesn't matter what you have on the submixer, you only get 2 channels of audio. So again, somebody out there who has 2 MX-1s, and I know that there are quite a few of you out there that watch the channel that have 2 MX-1s, if you could just come back and answer those questions, it would be really appreciated. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.